since we're making fans and making enemies, nobody's going to be better than Wesley Snipes as Blade.
Absolutely not. I think Mahershala Ali is going to do a really good job, but Wesley Snipes was just iconic for the time.
He was.
I think he's going to do a very good variation of him, but Wesley Snipes, no one's going to top him.
So I agree. The new Blade is going to be a bad movie. I agree with
What?
everyone here.
You can't say that.
I don't think it's going to be bad.
I can say whatever I want.
Going off the
I've been looking at Marvel and DC lately.
There were a lot of good movies. What other movies does DC have?
The Brave and the Bold.
Superman Legacy.
A couple movies that Marvel does have coming. Deadpool 3.
The Marvels.
Okay, here we go.
I've been looking at Marvel and DC lately and all the movies that they've been putting out. I'm kind of wondering about where they're going to be going from here, and I'm having some doubts about a lot of it because there's things that I've been seeing come across about Marvel going downhill. We've seen She-Hulk. We've had this discussion before. It was trash. It was just trash.
One way to put it.
But I'm starting to see stuff like Aquaman 2 coming out. They did a test view, and people were walking out of the theaters.
Boy, my eye.
Really?
Yes.
Wow, but first Aquaman, I thought the first Aquaman was really good.
Yeah, I thought so too.
That could be because of who they still have in the movie.
Talking about Amber.
Yeah, Amber Heard's still in it.
But do you think that is enough to keep people from going to rating the movie?
A lot of people didn't see the new Will Smith movie because he slapped Chris Rock. I know that has nothing to do with Marvel, but yeah, people get emotionally invested in the lives of the actor sometimes, and if they don't like a particular portrayal or person, they won't go see the movie. They won't support
just any famous person. I mean, Chris Brown.
I have questions now. Like, was it a good movie or was it not? Was it
Aquaman?
More the emotional side of it, or was it that they had them walk out? Was it a good movie or was it not?
Well, that's the thing is they went in and then it's kind of speculation at this point whether it was just a trash movie or if it was just Amber Heard.
Here's something that I mentioned before. I think that the Amber Heard situation is definitely one portion of it, but I also think Aquaman's just not that interesting enough of a character. Like, I feel like what they did in Aquaman 1 was enough for that character. Even if you read in the comics, there's not enough about his backstory that really brings you in and says, yeah, I want to make sure I buy every Aquaman issue every other week.
Word. I agree. And I got to say this, though. As far as Aquaman goes, he wasn't that great of a character in DC Comics. I think Jason Momoa did him complete justice and brought him up to a whole nother level.
Yeah,
totally
agree. So
but that's interesting because Shazam is next up, right? I think Shazam comes out on March 17th. Mm-hmm. Right, that's actually the next DC movie up, and then Flash is June. Is it June 16th? So
I don't think they were expecting Shazam to be as good as it was. So Shazam is kind of like their ladder. Like, oh, we can climb with this. Yeah.
So, but that's the thing, though. So, look, everybody shunned the first Justice League, the Joss Whedon Justice League, because let's be clear, he sabotaged the movie. All right, he did not want the Justice League to succeed because I think he was still employed by Marvel at the time. So after that, Batman v Superman got shunned, Justice League got shunned. But when you look at the standalone movies that they had, Wonder Woman, phenomenal. Mm-hmm. The first Aquaman,
very good,
pretty damn good.
Very good.
Shazam, unexpectedly great. You know what I mean? Like there were a lot of good movies, and so I feel like DC has put out good stuff. It's just Marvel had a formula that worked for so long.
But Mr. Church, let me ask you this question. Do you think they're shooting themselves in the foot because they just canceled Wonder Woman? They took Gal Gadot out. They took out Superman. So Henry Cavill's gone.
Gal Gadot?
Yes.
Yeah, they got rid of Gal Gadot.
That's James Gunn.
Yeah.
James Gunn's
rebooting everything.
And we talked about that. We talked about that in the previous episode already. If you look up here, you see there's a previous episode where we discussed that.
And Jason Momoa is gone too, I believe. The one that they kept was Ezra Miller. Out of everyone that's put out all these movies, Ezra Miller is the only one they kept.
It's really unfortunate.
But I heard a rumor. I'm not sure if it's true. But the person that actually is playing the Flash in the TV series is supposed to get his role in the movie.
Like
he might get a cameo, but he's not going to be the main actor going forward.
As much as we wish, like it's time for another Flash, is what it is. It's what it truly is. It's time for another Flash.
All right.
Somebody else that isn't Grant Gustin, as much as I hate to say it, and somebody who isn't.
I would think because they're going with a younger generation of superheroes, like a younger Superman, possibly a younger Batman, I'd be interested in seeing Wally West.
I was just about to say that as well. Introduce Wally West's story. That would be.
Can I ask, to segue, what other movies does DC have on the slate? Because then this is Marvel movies versus DC upcoming movies. So what other movies does DC have upcoming? So we know we have Shazam coming out March 17th. We know we have
March 17th.
We have Flash coming out.
Joker.
We recently saw a photo of Lady Gaga and Joaquin Phoenix for the Joker too.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
So the only 5 that I see right now that are on are Aquaman, Flash, Shazam, Blue Beetle, and Joker.
Can I ask a question? I'm curious about the Joker.
Yes.
The Joker, is that canon towards what they're doing with everything else?
No.
Or is that
It is completely separate, and there have been talks that they might combine it with the Batman, Robert Pattinson's Batman. Like combine those two universes.
Right.
Yeah.
Which would make sense because when you look at Joker spoilers and the Batman spoilers, they really make Thomas Wayne to look out as this guy that partook in the Arkham Asylum and how he was trying to kind of like more of a politician sort of person. And then when you watch the Joker, him having this side chick, which happens to be the Joker's mother. So Thomas Wayne being the father of the Joker. So that means that Batman and the Joker are half brothers, right?
Yeah, it feels like the vibe from both movies, like they're a part of the same universe. So if they combine them, I wouldn't be mad.
Correct.
Like in they were saying in the Elseworlds.
I hate it. Sorry, I hate it. Like everything that I was on board at the start of this, and I was like, all right, DC is going to take over. And then I looked at the list, and then we're talking about it. No, they're not. They're not going to take over.
But that's also because Marvel.
They still could.
I don't know if Marvel has much better movies upcoming either, though.
And that's upcoming in the next couple years.
A couple movies that Marvel does have coming up pretty soon would be the Deadpool 3 movie with Wolverine, Thunderbolts movie that's coming out, and Kevin Feige announced that Bucky Barnes will be leading the Thunderbolts.
But if you think about the list, we're looking at the list. I'm looking at it right now. We got Guardians of the Galaxy, which looks like trash. That's May 5th, right? Then
that's the last Guardian. That's the last movie.
Then we got the Marvels, which is November 10th. I haven't seen anything on that. And then we go into 2024, Captain America: New World Order.
Well, they've also so they finally hashed out everything with Blade, and they're going to start filming for the new Blade movie in Atlanta this summer.
Yes.
So it seems like
I am excited for that.
It seems like Mahershala Ali is on board with it now.
Why? So they finally did the script right.
Because they hashed everything out. They initially released that, I want to say this was back in October, November timeframe, that he was not happy with the direction of the movie. Right. They weren't doing what they were supposed to with the fight scenes. It was very cheesy. And now they're finally coming back. Yeah, only 2 lackluster fight scenes, he said. But now they've gone back to the drawing boards, and they said they finally got to a common ground with the writing and whatnot, and they're going to start the filming this summer.
On the DC side, James Gunn announced that they were going to bring Batman and Robin.
Yes, and the Brave and Bold.
The Brave and the Bold. So it's going to be Batman and possibly 3 Robins.
Didn't he also say he was doing Gods and Monsters? The Gods and Monsters?
Yes, the Gods and Monsters.
He's also doing a new Superman with Superman Legacy.
Yes.
And as well as a new Supergirl movie coming out.
So let me ask everybody.
Nobody's talking about... Hold on. Mr. Jers, one question, though. What about the new Constantine movie? They said it's supposed to be a Constantine 2, and that...
There's not anything official yet. We don't have a timetable for it yet. We know that it's going to happen. We just don't have a timetable for it yet.
Gotcha.
Is Keanu going to be in that?
Actually, they asked Keanu Reeves during an interview what movie he would like to do again, that he would like to sort of fix, and he said he would like to do a Constantine. I don't think anything was officially said about them actually greenlighting a Constantine 2.
Where I shouldn't plug in, but IMDb has got it out there. Keanu Reeves is going to be playing John Constantine. Peter Stormare is going to be playing Lucifer. It's out there on IMDb right now. To me, that's saying that it's greenlit.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like to me too. Yeah,
writer Steve Bissett, Jamie Delano is the comic book writer, and then
Keanu
Goldsman.
I apologize, Keanu. I'm a huge fan, Keanu. If you ever see this, I can't wait to see this movie, man.
Well,
I'm excited, Keanu.
But I'm sorry, but nobody. Since we're making fans and making enemies, nobody's going to be better than Wesley Snipes as Blade.
Absolutely not. I think Mahershala Ali is going to do a really good job, but Wesley Snipes was just iconic for the time.
He was.
I think he's going to do a very good variation of him, but Wesley Snipes, no one's going to top him.
So I agree. The new Blade is going to be a bad movie. I agree with
What?
everyone here.
You can't say that.
I don't think it's going to be bad.
I can say whatever I want.
Going off the dark side of everything,
So mad.
on the DC side of things, I'm also excited for them announcing that they're going to do something with Swamp Thing coming up.
Yes, they're supposed to be doing like a Swamp Thing.
They tried the Swamp Thing series, and it just didn't.
That was
take.
bad. That was bad.
Swamp Thing growing up,
bad.
and I remember watching Swamp Thing growing up and just thinking like, "Yo,
If
why
they
is
do
this giant can of spinach fighting people?"
They can't strictly focus on Swamp Thing. They'd have to bring Poison Ivy into that mix.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If you give us Poison Ivy, and then if you give us Poison Ivy, you might as well give us Harley Quinn.
Well, you know what? I guess that's what the difference is between Marvel and DC. With Marvel, there's a plan, and they have the list of things that they intend on doing. DC, we're just guessing. Is that a positive or is that a negative?
No, with DC, they actually have a plan. They have a list.
Mm-hmm. Their plan was James Gunn. Their plan was James Gunn, do whatever you think is right, and we're going to go with it. So now that we're talking about this,
movies.
Let me ask: now that we've heard the list of Marvel movies that are upcoming and the list of DC movies upcoming, which ones are you guys most excited for?
DC.
Man, I say DC, man.
It's not by a large margin, but definitely DC.
So, just in kind of doing a little bit of looking real quick, I found the upcoming movies for DC list. Mm-hmm. Black Canary to be announced. This one's going to get you guys. I'm excited for this. Static Shock to be announced.
Yes,
absolutely, 100%.
The Authority to be announced. But yeah, like you said, Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow is to be announced. Swamp Thing to be announced.
The Authority, the people that are in the Authority are like the Doctor or Apollo or the Engineer. Like, you guys have probably never heard any of those names.
My point is that everyone is so excited about the DC moving forward. Marvel has dates and a set plan for the movies. DC, everything is, all you see is to be announced. So there is no plan. DC doesn't have a plan.
But the question is,
Marvel
are you actually looking forward to those movies that Marvel's doing?
You have to have a plan. If you don't have a plan, you can't talk.
But
you need a plan.
But DC
we need to know what to expect.
I hear what Matt V is saying. I agree with Matt V. He's basically saying, correct me if I'm wrong, if there's no date, we can't even consider it right now. Because DC has 2 dates. Marvel has 2 dates. So if we're looking at just 2023, you said Guardians of the Galaxy, May 5th, and sometime in November for the Marvels. So if you take those 2 movies, Guardians of the Galaxy and the Marvels, versus Shazam and Flash, which 2 are you more excited to see?
I'm going to counter there. I get what you're saying, but the dates for Marvel go into 2025. So because I can see that far ahead of what they plan to do, I'm going with Marvel. DC, you have 2 dates and you don't know anything else.
So, Matt V, check it out. We know that Marvel has had this grand scheme for such a long time, right? Mm-hmm. They were able to develop all the hard work that Stan Lee has done over the last decade and a half, right? So it was easy for them to go into phase 4 and to phase 5 and to continue because of, it's almost like the snowball effect. Like, you're able to just add on. DC has had to now start over, but they are now getting the ball rolling.
Think about it as in, whenever Marvel first started out with Iron Man.
what I was going to say.
And
Right.
Captain America,
y'all are definitely triggering me right now because there's no plan.
Vern,
there is no plan.
So Vern, I'll just connect this to a point that you made a couple videos ago. Even if you have all this content planned out, it doesn't matter if it's trash.
Exactly.
Okay, but there's something that you can depict,
Sink
and
your
you can
teeth
say
on.
who's going forward, who's going to be better. Based off of what I see here, this looks like the better investment. DC has nothing. There's nothing to bet on.
DC is building themselves up.
Y'all are ridiculous.
No. Okay. Hold on a second.
There's a transition because what we've seen is we saw Zack Snyder for DC. DC has been too jumbled. Warner Brothers decided to give 5 or 6 different people the green light to do whatever they wanted to do. So simultaneously, we've had different Batmans. We've had other series. We've had Greg Berlanti doing the TV shows. At no point did Warner Brothers say, look, I want one president of DC handling everything like Marvel has done with Kevin Feige. That's the difference.
Right.
And so they did that in 2008 or whenever Kevin Feige took over. Please fact check me. But whoever was the president of Marvel had this vision for continuity across universes and did it that way. Their biggest mishap was Sony and Fox with X-Men and Spider-Man. Outside of that, everything was under the MCU umbrella. So now DC is trying to do that, but unfortunately, we're caught in the middle of that transition.
All right, you're in the middle of transition, but what you're talking about is that you're talking about the failures of the past have nothing to do with the topic at hand, which is the progress of the future. The right now, there is no future because everything is to be announced.
Matt V, so we just watched this Flash trailer, right? We can see the beginnings, the inner workings, the roots that are being planted.
There's no dates. There's no scheduled dates.
There's 2 dates.
It's like whenever, like I said before, whenever Marvel first started out, they didn't have those dates back then. It's just like that. Whenever DC, it's your time. Like what Brian said in the previous episode.
Well, back then, right now, they have dates. They have dates for the next 3 years. DC does not.
Okay, but here's the thing. The question is, going forward, who's going to be better, Marvel or DC?
I'm more excited about DC going forward.
I honestly think Marvel is already running out of steam.
That's because the man who created all of this is now gone. He has left a legacy. I get it. And they're now doing everything that they're trying to create the multiverse. I wish that one of our other counterparts that you guys all know him. He speaks of when we saw the Multiverse of Madness, Doctor Strange. That was supposed to be, I think that was the make or break of this next segment of Marvel, and it did not cut it. Okay? It didn't.
Okay.
I'm going to quote what Vernon said in a previous episode. With the multiverse, DC is going to do it better.
DC's going to do the multiverse better, but you see what also Nas tried to sneak in there. He tried to sneak it. Well, they have 4 scheduled dates. All right, everyone knows Shazam. So you get Shazam because Shazam is coming out in March, right? And then you have the Flash. The Flash trailer looked good, and then you have the Beetle, which we've seen nothing on. And you have Aquaman, which people walked out of. So there's your 4. There's nothing else scheduled after that. That's your 4. You try to sneak it out like you can make a solid base that DC is going to be solid. But with those 4, which the 4th one is people walked out of the screening for, that's not a good bet.
Let me put this to rest. Joker comes out October 2024. Superman Legacy comes out July 11th, 2025. Batman Part 2 comes out October 3rd, 2025. And then
are there dates for that?
Yes.
Are there dates?
Yes.
July 11th. Yeah, Superman Legacy. All right.
Okay, Black Canary, Static
Curry.
Shock, and let's see, The Authority. And then the Brave and the Bold are the last ones, but they haven't got dates for. But they already have all the way up to 2025.
Don't give me to be announced. To be announced don't count.
But
I'm not excited for none of those. But I'm not excited for none of those. I'm a DC guy, and none of that made me go, boy. I'm not excited for none of that.
The Batman doesn't even count, does it? The Batman 2 doesn't count, does it? Because it's not part of that.
No, well, hold on 1 second. Okay, I'm glad you said that, Vernon. I think it will count after this Flash movie drops. Then it will be relevant. Yes, it will. Yes, it will.
Okay.
So the Robert Pattinson Batman is not going to be included in the DCU, just like the Joker isn't either yet. What they said is that from what they
they're
said
going to be in an Elseworlds.
They might combine them later on. Yeah,
they're going to be in Elseworlds.
This Flash movie, I will go on record. This Flash movie is the most anticipated movie of the year. Marvel, DC, doesn't matter. Of the year.
I'll go one further. It's going to be the most anticipated DC movie ever. There's nothing else before or after this movie as anticipated.
Really?
Wait,
there's
Dark Knight.
That is a very, very loaded statement.
There's too many things that converge in one location because you got to think you've got Michael Keaton coming into the Flashpoint. Okay, so you're bringing all the old stuff back into it. We saw the Rumbler button. We had this discussion last time.
You said DC DC all of DC or DC
all of the movies that DC put out.
That's a hell of a debate.
I'm going to go on record and say no, only for the reason that the greatest person who ever played Joker died before the release of the movie. As far as the anticipation,
he won an Oscar.
That in itself brought so many people to the theater.
No.
But I will say that
there's going to be something to beat that.
This Flash movie, though, it's a debate. It's a debate because I'm not ruling it out. This Flash movie is that anticipated.
Yes,
it is that anticipated.
I think of this year. I think of this year. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, I think it's number one this year. I think it's a debate on whether it's the most anticipated DC movie ever. Now that's a discussion. We might have to do an episode on that.
Who wants to lay that some other time?
I want to see an episode on that. Let us know.
Who wants to lay a bet on how much is it going to bring in? I bet it's going to be the highest grossing DC movie ever.
I'll make a bet that it will make or break DC.
Okay. Yeah, I will agree with that.
I'll make that same. DC. They've just got to do it right.
Bring in total, or just bring in?
Yes.
Are we talking opening box office weekend?
Opening box office weekend.
Opening box office weekend. I'll go on record. I'll say $255.
$255
million.
There you go.
We're gonna ask you all: who do you think is moving forward is going to do it better? Is it going to be Marvel or is it going to be this DC? What did you think about our discussion? Like and subscribe.
Mom,
and subscribe, and we look forward to your comments, and we look forward to see
it's coming
next episode.